Hey viewers, today I want to share with you 5 insidiously destructive lies that more than 80% of men and women tell themselves, which are absolutely destroying their self-confidence and any chance they have of getting success in their dating lives along the way. Society loves to frown on the act of lying to each other, but I believe that it's the lies we tell ourselves that are by far the most destructive to our happiness and success in life. The saddest thing is that these lies are often spread to us by those whose insight we trust the most, our friends and family. And while their hearts are in the right place, you have been instilled with beliefs about yourself and the world around you that can be incredibly damaging to our self-esteem and very hard to shake. So today, I'm going to share with you the top 5 dating lies, why they're so harmful to your self-confidence, and what the truth really is that you need to start embracing. Lie number 1. That person is too good for me. This is the most common lie I hear. Not because you won't meet plenty of men and women who will be better than you in plenty of ways, because you will, but because the root of this lie rests with the belief that the most valuable things in your viability as a romantic partner are things like looks, wealth, and beauty. And yet research consistently shows that these qualities rank as the least important to be in a successful relationship. Whereas qualities like honesty, emotional intelligence, willingness to grow as a human, ability to admit fault, and many others are seen by research psychologists to be the most important factors. Now, I know you'll see this list and say, sure, it's lovely to say these things, but that hot girl or guy over there doesn't give a fig about my amazing emotional intelligence. He is so intellectually smart that he'll just laugh at me for being stupid. Or, she's so pretty that she'll have no interest in a guy like me with barely any money. To which I can say, yes, that will oftentimes be the truth. But the true lie is in who isn't good enough for whom. If you are out and see a man or woman who values qualities you don't believe are important in being a great partner, and doesn't appear to have the qualities that you do value, then surely you are the one who is potentially too good for them. And there's something amazing that happens when you have this internal shift. You see a man or woman that may offer the things you were once intimidated by, but now they're just features that would be nice to have in a partner, but they aren't intimidating anymore because you demand something of more value from the men or women in your life. So when you go and talk to them, they can feel that you're sussing them out to see if they're good enough for you, instead of constantly trying to prove yourself to them. This shift makes you both more confident and more successful in your dating life. Lie number 2. If I go out of my way to be extra nice, that person will like me. I personally hate this lie so very much. Why? Because it's the lie I told myself that caused so much pain and heartbreak in my early life. It's the lie believed by nice guys and nice girls around the world, that if we put ourselves out enough for the sake of the other person, that they will see what an amazing catch we are. But this almost always leads to us being taken advantage of in soul-crushing ways. Then it leaves men and women feeling bitter and angry at the opposite gender. Does this feel at all familiar to you? I know I'm not the only one who's fallen into this trap. The truth is, all mammals need social boundaries to feel happy and comfortable. Dogs, lions, mice, and humans. When we first meet a person, subconsciously we are slowly testing and looking for that person's personal boundaries. When we find them and they are strong, then we will feel like we know and trust that person. We build a respect for that person, which shapes how we treat them. But people who believe this lie don't put up any boundaries at all in their attempt to be liked. So the other man or woman can't build respect for you, and they keep pushing your boundaries further and further, testing how far you'll stretch until you create a boundary or until you break. Not because they're bad people, but because it's in our core instinctual nature to seek boundaries around us. Most people aren't even aware that's what they're doing. The biggest step for believers in this lie is to start becoming very comfortable with the word no. To remember that their own needs are the most important needs in the world, and that only by learning to look after your own needs first can you truly be loved and love another person. This doesn't mean you have to always be selfish, but it does require that you're willing to sometimes make the selfish decision because you believe your own needs in that particular moment are worthy of attention over anyone else's. Lie number 3. If I pretend to be more perfect than I really am, they'll like me more. This is a tempting trap for any man or woman to fall into. The thinking is that our flaws are shameful and should be hidden, and that we should embellish our strengths to appear almost perfect to those looking in from the outside. I think the danger with this lie is best illustrated by sharing my own personal experience with this lie in my dating life. When I was 22, I thought I was pretty hot stuff. I had worked hard on my ability to pick up women, and sure enough, on any given weekend, I was getting a fist full of phone numbers. I was a well-honed, polished pickup machine, charming and funny and extremely well-dressed. But I had two very big glaring problems. Firstly, my self-esteem was very shaky. If a woman said something mean to me or something unexpected happened, I'd easily be thrown into a heaping pile of self-doubt. I was great at pretending to be confident, but in reality, that was a sham. Secondly, while I was meeting lots of hot women, I really wasn't meeting any great women. It seemed like every woman in Sydney was a steaming pile of insecurity and baggage like I was. I didn't really want women like this in my life in the short term, let alone in the long term. So what was going on here? What was wrong with the lie that I was telling myself? It seemed to be getting me some results after all. Well, there are two problems with this lie. Firstly, when you rely on pretending to be something you're not to get men or women to like you, then you are consistently reinforcing the belief that you are not good enough how you really are. So every time I picked up a cute girl at a bar, my self-esteem was taking a subconscious beating. Secondly, when you hide your flaws and pretend to be better than you are, you act as a homing beacon for other people with the same mindset. So you are constantly attracting other men and women with fragile egos who feel unhappy, confused, and lost, no matter how perfect they may appear on the surface. The truth is that our flaws are actually a huge part of what makes us interesting and attractive to the people we really want and need in our lives, and make us unattractive to the people we really don't want in our lives. Just one note on this section to avoid confusion. You should always be working on your character flaws, because life is about consistently working towards being a better person. But never hide or be ashamed of them. We all have flaws, so seeing yours makes you more relatable to others. Lie number 4. I have to play the game better than them. There are many men and women who get caught up playing games with each other. Usually these are games of dominance to get the upper hand in an interaction, date, or relationship. Some of us get incredibly good at these games as well. It can feel great to have the other party wrapped neatly around our little fingers. But there's a huge problem with games. There must always be a loser. So if you see dating and relationships as a game to win, then you're kind of screwed no matter what you do. Why? Because if you win the game, then the other party loses and they'll resent you for it. If you lose the game, then you resent the other party for winning. So anytime you play games in a relationship, both parties ultimately lose no matter what. We often turn to games as a self-protection mechanism to avoid rejection or pain of some sort that we've experienced in the past. So what happens if you don't want to play games but your partner does? It's simple. You just don't play the game. It takes two people for a game to function. Let's say you've been on a few dates with a woman who gets really sexually hot and steamy with you, but always turns anything more sexual than heavy makeouts down, just as things are starting to get to a peak frenzy. There are lots of manipulative games you could play with her, like ignoring her to punish her, letting her see you hit on other girls, and the list goes on. But that just encourages her to play games back with you. If indeed that's what she's doing, after all, there can be other good reasons she'd turn you down sexually that aren't manipulative. Instead, what you should be doing is refusing to play the game. Open a direct dialogue about the issue. Hey, I noticed that every time things get hot and heavy, you turn down taking things further, even though it seems like we both want it. Do you mind if I ask how come? The truth is that men and women can't keep playing games with you if you're direct in your dialogue with them. This will give them respect for you and prevent either party from becoming the loser. Lie number 5. I want a serious future with this person, so I'll never tell them about X, or I'll lose them forever. This lie actually makes me very sad. Why? Because I learned this crucial lesson in my life only in the last couple of years. Let me tell you the lesson I learned by believing this lie. We can only feel truly loved by another person if they know and accept all aspects of who we are and who we once were and love us in spite of it all. About half of all relationships I know involve one or both parties hiding information about themselves from their partner for fear of losing them. Some of these relationships are decades long. The thing that makes me so sad is that this means people are going through decades of their lives not feeling truly loved and not feeling truly lovable as a result. There isn't a guarantee that the object of your affection will stick around if they know the truth about you and your past, but I can promise you that someone else will. And every human alive is capable of and deserves to be loved by someone, no matter what they've done in the past. Charles Manson has had many women in love with him, so why the heck can't you? Most of my clients who eventually got into long-term relationships, for example, don't want to tell their partners that they had a dating coach. This ensures that while these men and women successfully found amazing partners, they'll never get the love they deserve. Don't fall into this trap. Open up and share your entire past. If your partner doesn't want you now that they know the truth, then good riddance. It's time to find someone who actually appreciates the whole you and not a fake version of yourself. I personally have fallen victim to a number of these lies. How about yourself? Can you relate to one or more of these lies that we tell ourselves? I'd love to hear stories and examples of how believing these lies has hurt you in the past. Please feel free to share these stories in the comments below, and as always, if you've enjoyed this video, then be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my newest broadcasts, which come out 3 times a week. Hey guys, do you get frustrated approaching women and then getting rejected? I'd like to invite you to my free 12 video training series where I'm going to show you how to make such an amazing first impression before you even say a word that rejection will soon become a thing of the past. See that button down there? Don't procrastinate anymore. Go ahead and click on it, and I look forward to working with you.